A very good day to all of you out there. Admav here with another episode of Admav's Corner. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that watched the inaugural episode that I released exactly 1 week ago. The feedback is much appreciated. I felt the love, and I'm glad I was able to have a positive impact on those of you that had a chance to listen to this fledgling podcast. I'm not really sure if it even deserves to be called a podcast. I guess technically it is, but things all start somewhere, and I am going to try to make this a regular thing. As you may have surmised, I'm going to try to do it at least once a week, every Friday, because Friday is my Saturday, basically, as my job, my actual job, is scheduled between Sundays and Thursdays. So from Sunday to Thursday, I work, and it's in the afternoon, so the schedule's a little different from the average. But like I said, welcome. You all are very welcome here. And as always, this is a safe space to discuss anything and everything. You're all welcome here. So the format of this is very spontaneous. And I actually had something planned that I wanted to talk about. More specifically, I wanted to expand on some points that I had mentioned in the previous episode. But I decided to scrap that altogether in favor of just kind of freestyling it again, because there have been some things that happened this week. More specifically, things that happened at work that have sort of affected my experience and my mood this week. So I kind of wanted to touch up on that. I guess there's no other way to put this, but a coworker, someone who I considered a friend at work, was let go this week. Now, I've only been at this job for 3 months, so my knowledge of the workplace is very limited, but so far I've really liked it here. And so far, of what I know about my coworker that was unfortunately let go, is that he's a very good guy. He seemed very selfless. And he was one of the few people there that seemed to really care about the work that he does and the help that he's provided people. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was directly affected by this. Because I was indirectly involved in some way. Without delving into too much detail, one time I had made a lunch for him as a favor. One of the things that I enjoy doing is cooking, and cooking for other people specifically. I really enjoy it when I'm able to make them happy, and I really enjoy it when they enjoy the meal that I make for them. And so as a favor, because, he's done so many favors for me at work, helping me out, especially, in my earlier days at this place, I just wanted to do something nice and make him a lunch. I put it in a plastic bag, a Longo's plastic bag. For those of you who don't know, Longo's is a supermarket here, but, that's not important to the story. Well, it kind of is, because I put that bag in one of the refrigerators. There's three large refrigerators at work. It's the one on the very right. I put it on the very right. And when I got a chance to speak to him, I told him, hey, I made a lunch for you. Don't worry about it. I wanted to do it, and I hope you enjoy it. And he was, really happy and really excited, because he had heard that I'm a bit of an enthusiast when it comes to cooking, and I made a meal for him. So The next work day, I catch up with him. I ask, hey, so how did you like the meal? Oh, and by the way, if you guys are wondering, the meal I made is this dish called bistec Tagalog. It's thinly sliced beef in kind of like a dark sauce, like consisting of soy sauce and lemon or calamansi if you're Filipino, and if you have access to that fruit. It's delicious, by the way, and sautéed with onion rings. So I ask him, did you enjoy the meal? And he tells me that what was in the bag was not the meal that I had given him or that I told him that I made. Now, that surprised me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's noodles in here. And I told him I didn't make any noodles. So it became quite clear to me that he had mistakenly taken another coworker's meal from the refrigerator. Now, it was kind of a funny situation that we laughed about, but I knew that that other coworker of ours could or may have well been, frustrated, even angry. I can understand that. I mean, if you're coming off of working and you want to take a break and you're hungry and you've been looking forward to your meal all day and it's gone and someone took it, and then you just kind of, because of how emotional you are, because of how upset you are that you don't have a meal to eat anymore, you kind of just assume that the other person took it for themselves. Now, my coworker friend never mentioned to me if he actually physically returned the meal. He eventually did take the correct Longos bag, right? He eventually did take the correct one, but he didn't mention to me if he returned the other one. So, and where I come in is this. This week, a few days ago, I was pulled into the human resources offices. My manager was there, HR manager was there, and another member of HR was there. I had no idea what was going on. I was thinking, am I in trouble here? Did I do something that I'm not aware of? I was confident that I didn't. I don't have any issues with any of the my other colleagues at my workplace, and I know I do a good job. So when we started talking, it started leading to food and to the refrigerators, and I immediately put it all together, and I was like, oh, is this something to do with my coworker friend? And then we talked about that incident. And then the next day I come to find out that he got fired. So my instant reaction was that I felt guilty, because I feel like in some way I was responsible, or partly responsible, for him being let go. I didn't label the bag. I should have, so it would have been easier for him to see and grab the correct one. And it really, pardon my French, fucked me up. It really fucked me up that day. It put me in a really bad headspace, because I just try to do the right thing and I just try to be a kind person. And for something so negative to result from me trying to do something nice really messed with me that day. Now, I know that it's highly unlikely that a company fires someone over food, mistakenly taking food, unless it's like a repeat offense, over several times, over several months. But when you're in there, you kind of just have to deal with it, those feelings, those emotions. And because I'm such a deep feeler, and the way that I experience emotions feels so intensified. It feels more intensified than the average person. And that's due to, my depressive nature and just how anxious I get and how much of an overthinker I am. It really bothered me. And, thank goodness for my other friends at work and other coworkers who were ensuring me and reassuring me that he was let go for other reasons and that it wasn't solely based on that one incident that involved you. In many ways, my coworker friend who got let go made his own bed. Apparently, he's been on a downswing for quite a while now, and I guess it was just a matter of time, regardless of whether or not the incident involving me making him lunch and him taking the wrong lunch by mistake happened or not. And I do know that that makes sense. And that is likely, or more than likely, what actually happened. His performance really dropped, and I had already sensed that his mood had been shifting. But I don't know what's actually going on specifically within his own life. And I don't really try to pry into that unless they want to talk about it. But still, the way that I work is that I need time to feel things. I need time for the emotions to run, and I need time for my brain to process that, because that's just how my brain works. Everyone's brain works differently, and the way that people process their emotions all work differently as well. But here's the thing. It's important to feel these emotions. It's important to let these emotions run. Now, you don't want them to continuously run in your head, because that can become a real issue, ruminating thoughts, the anxiety, the overthinking, which, I have all of that. But I know myself better now, and I know that I just need time to process. It's just how it is. And that day I was really quiet at work. I really didn't want to say much, at least not at the time, because I would rather talk about it once my brain is done whatever it needed to do. And as I thought, it ended up being okay. I ended up accepting that he was let go because of his own actions, because of the things that he did, and not because of what I did. And I honestly wish him the best of luck. And I know he's going to be able to find another job in the future. And I really hope that things turn out well for him. Because honestly, that whole incident, and I didn't get to know him as much as I would have liked, but that incident sort of reminded me of what I had gone through some years ago at a previous job, where I was in a really dark place at the time. Things had happened at that job that caused me to not care. And we can talk about that in another episode. And I realize that I keep saying all these references where I say, we'll talk about that in another episode. There's going to be a lot of that. And I will talk about it in another episode. Don't worry, I'm making notes of everything. But what I'm trying to say is, I was in a really dark place at the time, and I let myself slide, and I didn't care if I got caught. And eventually that caught up to me, and I was let go. Being let go didn't feel the worst. The thing that had happened felt worse. But, I lost my job abruptly because of that. And I was in a really dark place, and I never thought I would get out. But thank goodness that I did. And I hope my coworker who got fired is able to do that as well. It's not easy, and I feel for him. And wherever you are, I hope the best for you. and I hope you figure things out sincerely. You deserve it. I've seen the best side of this guy, and he's great. I know he'll get things sorted out. And that's just sort of, that's just life. It's just a part of it, right? We talked about in the last episode that life has ebbs and flows, and you just kind of have to go with it. And even now, where I'm at in life, how I feel about where I'm at, my position in this world, even though I feel like I'm happier these days, even though I feel like I understand myself, I love myself, I accept myself, these difficult times, they never stop. Challenges always come along. That's just the nature of life. And we constantly have to do our best to overcome these challenges. And that's not to say that we got to rush through them or find a solution as quickly as possible, although in some cases that might be what is required. But it's best to allow yourself to breathe, to allow yourself to think, and to allow yourself to feel. You need to be able to do all these things. And you have to understand that when you're feeling down, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden that whatever progress you feel like you've made, or the newfound, zest for life or happiness in life is going to disappear. No. At least that's not how I feel about it. That's just how it is. I would still say that I'm happy, but I went through something rather unpleasant. That doesn't mean that all of that is taken away. It doesn't mean that I've taken a step back. No. And the reason why I can say that so confidently is because I know myself. I understand myself. And I know that I'm very in tune with my own emotions. And I know that I have to feel these emotions. I can't bury them. I shouldn't. No one really should, to be honest with you. If you're going through emotions, the best thing to do is to let it run its course. Now, you don't want it to affect other aspects of your life, like your relationship with your family, friends, your significant other. You don't want to do that. So being able to let them know, hey, I'm not in the best place right now, emotionally and mentally, and I want you to know that because I don't want you to inadvertently be affected by this. And I'm giving you a heads up. I just need time to process. If you could just give me some time, I'll be able to get through this, and you won't have to bear any of the negative side effects, or at least you'll only have to bear very little. And I was able to do that successfully with a lot of my coworkers. I told them, hey, I just need space, and I appreciate you guys checking up on me. I really do. I'm very thankful. And I'm glad you guys are here. But just give me space. I'll be okay. I'll get through this. I just need time to process. I know myself more than anybody else now. I just need time to process. And after processing, after sleeping on it, the next day I felt okay. And like I said previously, I just want the best for my coworker who no longer works at my company. And I sincerely believe that he will be okay. So I've made peace with that. And upon further reflection, I really feel like this is just a bump in the road. And that overall, I still feel great about life, about where I am. I'm not saying that I'm content. Never said that. I'm not saying that this is how I want it to be forever, but as of right now, in the present, in the moment, I feel okay. And I'm extremely grateful to be able to feel okay. because God knows that people often get stuck either in the past or worrying too much about the future. And boy, I did that a lot. Still do, but it's not as bad as it used to be. Now I'm able to be in the present more, thankfully. And I know in the future, things will come my way that will challenge that. And that will always happen. But to be able to know yourself, to be able to be a friend to yourself, to be able to love for yourself, to care for yourself. And I know this is a recurring theme so far in the first 2 episodes of this podcast, but it really is that important to be able to know yourself that way, to love and care for yourself that way, so that whenever these challenges in life do come your way, you still experience the difficulty and the challenging emotions that come with that, but you're able to deal with it in a much better way. You're able to process it and come out of it better and come out of it okay, because you know that you're strong enough and resilient enough to sort through the mess and do the right thing and continue to live on and do the best that you can. So my friends, stay true to yourselves. Just keep doing what you're doing. Life will be okay. It'll all work out. Until next time. See you guys.